Want to know more about this NP20 CNC lathe? Well, that's what we're talking about in this video. Now I'm here at Rubitec Engineering in Hull. They've recently purchased this NP20 Victor lathe from CNC. Now I was really impressed with some of the points that Andy was making about the machine and what it's actually machining. And they're the things we're going to start with. In a minute I'm going to tell you and show you more detail about the spec of the machine. But to start with, have a look at some of these parts that he's actually machining on this very small NP20. Now these are stainless components, and the great thing is you can see here some of the surface finishes and the milling that have gone into these parts. You would expect a pretty robust machine to tackle them. And again, this is another one that you can see here. This is a 316 part. These have all been machined on this Victor NP20. Now, let's talk about the machine, because this is really impressive. The first thing you'll see is the size of it. It is tiny, and this was one of the considerations by Rubitec. They needed a machine with a small footprint that could really pack a punch. So what's the inside look like? Well, it is a machine that has a C-axis, and it has also driven tools on the turret. It's got that BMT turret, so you've obviously got the bolt-mounted tooling, 12 stations. This indexes in less than a second, this turret, so the emphasis is on speed as well. It can go up to 6,000 RPM on milling if you choose as an option, and of course there is 12 tools on the machine. Looking at the chuck and the capacity of the machine, now the bar capacity on this particular model is 52 millimeters, but you do have, as a way the machine is put together and built, 650 mil swing over bed or over the bed, but up to a 234 mil turning diameter, which again, it just emphasizes, even though the footprint of the machine is small, you've got a lot of working area. 520 millimeters between centers, and as I already touched on, that 52 mil bar. Now, what about the power of the machine? Well, quite interestingly, I always look at how powerful these kinds of machines are. They're smaller. How are the spindles made? Are they cartridge driven? Are they belt driven? This has 11 kilowatts of power on this spindle. So for quite a small machine, that's ample. Well, it proves it's ample with the results that the guys are getting here when you look at the stainless parts they're machining, although they are doing brass at the moment. The driven tools have over 2 kilowatts of power, and you can run up to that 6,000 RPM. We'll go back in once again because I want to re-emphasize how the machine's built. You've got this cliff edge scenario at the back of the casting so that the swarf can fall away into the conveyor, which again is very handy for making sure that you're not in the machine trying to move or clear swarf off of the slideways. Now the machine does weigh 4 tons, and it's a one-piece meionite casting. It operates on roller guides. And as I say, that cliff edge design just minimises chip build-up. Now the options they selected with the machine include this parts catcher here, this parts bin, which they can obviously use for unmanned operation. They didn't go for a bar feed, interestingly, because the guys here are really focused on the skills of the guys and being involved in the manufacturing process. But what they did go with, and as we go around the back of the machine we'll see, is a swarf conveyor. Now what I have seen on this machine before, and I've found really interesting, is how you can have the conveyor in the configuration they've got it here, which comes out the side of the machine. But what you can also have, if you really are tight for space, which, okay, they're not really that tight here for space, but they wanted it in as small a footprint as possible, is you can have the swarf conveyor coming out of the back of the machine. Now the footprint of the actual machine from left to right, not the depth, but from left to right, is less than 2 meters. So that gives you an idea of where you could fit this machine, or how you could fit this machine into a very small machine shop. Clearly, when Victor have developed this machine, they've done it based on providing a workhorse that can operate in a very small footprint with the maximum working envelopes within it. Not only that, I've got to finish on the fact that these machines can be automated very easily. And they have a system within them where you can have robot loading. So if you are looking at the unmanned run, you can do that not just with the 2-axis, but with the 3-axis version as well. Really impressed. And these machines are available from CNC in the UK, and they do have machines available from stock or you can go to their headquarters in Oldham to have a look at these machines. But as it is from me here now, really, really impressed in not just what the machine looks like, but what it can achieve on some of these parts that we've seen here today at Rubitech Engineering.